As I sit and listen to the podcast with a warm mug of coffee in my hand, I'm transported to another world by the stories and ideas of the speaker. With each sip, I feel my mind awaken as a rich, bold flavor fills my senses. And as I listen, I'm inspired by the knowledge and insights that are shared. So here's to the podcast and the coffee, to perfect companion on this journey of learning. May they bring me new perspective and ideas and keep me fueled and engaged. Hello and welcome everyone. I am Muskan, your host and your host for the podcast series The Journeys. This podcast series is presented by Insightner. On today's episode, our guest is Mr. Amaresh Ojha, and we at Insightner are thrilled to have him on board for the series, who has a diverse background. We are going to talk about his journey and what advice he has for others. Amaresh Ojha is the founder of Gympik, a company that was recently acquired by Roundglass. He is a renowned name in Indian startup ecosystem. He also authored Fitness Habits: Breaking Barriers to Fitness, which became a best-selling book on Amazon in less than a year. He is a pass out from IIM Bangalore. Driven by his passion for fitness, Mr. Ojha founded his first venture, Gympik, in 2014. He is a prolific public speaker and remained a contributor to fitness and technology column in renowned publications. Currently, he is working at Roundglass as a product leader. In 2021, Business World honored Mr. Amaresh Ojha as one of the winners of prestigious BW Wellbeing 40 Under 40 Awards. So I would like to welcome Mr. Ojha. Good afternoon, sir. First of all, I would like to welcome you, and it's an honor to talk to you. So let's begin the podcast. So my first question to you is, please tell us about your professional background and how the time since you started working has shaped you.
Thank you, and thanks for your time and for the experience. And it's always a pleasure to share my experience with the audience. I started my career as a software engineer. That was way back in 2005. Started my career with Sun Microsystems. Then I worked with Cisco, Intuit, and few other software companies before I decided to uh, go on my own and chase my passion, which is passion, which is more on the fitness side, and match it with the skills that I have, which is technology, and try to solve one of the problems what the industry has, like making fitness discovery easier for the people. And that's where the journey of Gympik started, where we started with a discovery platform, helping people to find gyms, studios, or any kind of fitness in the country. So the journey started in 2014. We started with Bangalore, uh, and slowly we moved to different cities. It was a bootstrap company for initial 6 months. Then we got angel investors, and slowly once we started becoming bigger, we got funding from the VCs, and the company became bigger. Slowly, we went deeper into the industry where we started making software for the gyms and the fitness industry to manage their CRM, ERP, and a lot of other things. And in 2018, the company got acquired by Roundglass Partners, which is a Seattle-based well-being company. And I lead the product vertical for them, where obviously I am still on the well-being side of the product, where I manage a lot of other products along with Gympik and few other things. So yeah, that's my brief about my journey.
And how this journey has shaped you so far, like since the time you started.
I think it's a good experience. I always say that, and it's see, entrepreneurship is more about two things. I always say that you don't have a regret, like you wanted to do something in life which you could not do. So obviously one of the things, and The second thing is you also uh, uh, try to create opportunity for a new sector,
Yes.
right? A lot of people they see like this sector has limited opportunities or technology cannot be implemented in a wellness or fitness sector. So I took it as a challenge and we went deeper. We solved a lot of use cases, a lot of problem statements, and it worked really well for us.
Yes.
So yeah, it gives a sense of satisfaction where you have achieved something. I still feel it's not we could not make a unicorn, but that was never a target because the market that we operate is not so huge. But the problem has much bigger impact on the life of people.
But it's still great, that you converted your passion into your profession. That's commendable.
True. Exactly. So that sense of achievement always remains, right? So money always becomes a byproduct. You obviously you make money along with that, and but yeah, the
Money
sense
is
of
a driving
achievement
factor,
always
of
is
course, yes.
exactly. Yeah.
So, what I see is that you are quite a busy man. So, how do you balance your professional and personal life?
I do that. I mean, it's always about making time and managing your schedule, right? So, and there is something there. So I always, if I mean, I have multiple caps, multiple hats which I wear. Like I also talk to corporates. I also mentor a lot of entrepreneurs,
Yes.
young entrepreneurs who are on their journey. And one of the things which I tell them is to prioritize their day or the schedule that they have. Like basically, what are the priorities they have, and make time for that. And it's not only about work, but it also about making time for the family, making time for your health, well-being, and everything. And this is something what I preach. I practice that on my own. I mean, I have been working out regularly for a while. Meditation is also one of the things I have been doing for a while. So this is how my day continues. Work is obviously something we all have to do for our living, right? But a lot of other things keep us going along with that, and it keeps all of us occupied.
So, I would also like to add that I really like about you that you are open to mentoring others, as you mentioned. And
Yeah,
yes. And I have
thank you.
one more question. As you said that you wear different sorts of caps. So, which cap you enjoy the most? Which duty you enjoy the most?
I think all of it is all a choice. Being an entrepreneur, one of the flexibility that you get is you can do what you like.
Exactly.
See,
Yes.
I do it because I like this. I like I like the energy of these new entrepreneurs or the new generations of entrepreneurs who are very passionate about the ideas which they are chasing or the problem they are trying to solve. So I like that. I like mingling with them, also trying to see the way they are trying to tackle the problem. Because a lot of time you also learn from different people, like how they are trying to tackle the problem. So
True.
obviously, because for me also it's not the end of story.
Mhm.
Because for an
Of
entrepreneur, it's
course.
always one you do one company, after that you have another and another. That journey continues. So how do you get new ideas and things? Because it's always from the ecosystem, the people that you see, meet, greet every day, right? And that's how I keep my network.
So I wish to ask you about your startup, which was Gympik. So what was the idea behind Gympik?
I think I told you the idea was very simple. Even now, also, if you try to go to a gym or a fitness studio, the idea is to make it very easy for people to find it based on your choices, like which suits your requirement. Obviously, the pricing, how close it is to your house or the office. So based on that requirement, we created a platform. Like uh, let's make fitness more accessible uh, to everyone who is trying to discover it.
That's a
So
great.
that's how the idea started. Yeah. So that's how the idea started, and slowly it became bigger.
But the best thing is connecting technology and fitness. How did you manage to connect both of
Absolutely.
them?
I mean, obviously, it's the skill set. I was a techie for a while, and fitness is something that I'm very passionate about. So the understanding of both the industries. I understand fitness very well now. Technology is something I'm hands-on. So I thought, see, technology is something which can solve most of the use cases currently. I mean, if you see most of these companies nowadays, like Ola, Uber, and all these companies, the only thing what they have done is they have used technology to solve the business problems what these traditional industries has for a while.
So everything is
So we
depending
thought
on
like why
technology.
not use it?
Yes, of course.
Exactly.
So that was a great idea. So my next
Thank
question,
you.
like, were you always fitness enthusiast? Like I can see that
Not really. I mean,
but you
no, not always. I wasn't always. So
okay.
because see, I always say that it's a cultural problem. In our country, we are never taught to take care of ourselves. Like we don't take fitness very seriously.
Exactly.
It's more about very curriculum, study driven, career oriented. Like you focus on
I
your studies till your 10th or 12th. And after that, either you opt for engineering or whatever you have. After that, you go for MBA. And once you are done, then you have to get settled in your career. So fitness or health always have a backstage in your life.
true.
So similar thing, I had the similar thing, and because I come from a very small place, so I had a similar story. But you always get, so if you talk to most of the people who are working in the corporate now, one of the problem, I mean 95% people have a common problem. First, they don't like their job. Second thing is they want to do something on their own, but they don't have two things. I mean, they don't have so much of courage, guts, or whatever you say to start on their own, right?
Yeah.
So these are the challenges that people have. What happens once you take care of yourself, it also builds a lot of confidence and what do you say, uh, self pride in yourself, right? So that thing keeps you motivated. And this was one of the things which I realized when I got into this fitness journey, when I started working out, started getting interest in obviously gymming, then playing sports, also running and yoga. I realized like it's like every day you are pushing your limits. And when you start doing in one space, you try to do that in every walks of your life. So it becomes a practice for you. So and if you see the interview of most of the successful people, one of the common thing is they all work out like
Yes.
5 days a week. There are a lot of books written on that,
The
right?
other day I was watching
So this is
Adani's interview and he said that I make sure to work out at least 1 hour, daily.
exactly. Exactly. So that's a very common thing, and this is something I tell all the young uh, corporate people. Like this is something you should feel proud of. It's not something you should be ashamed of,
Yes.
right? And that's where my journey started. And I continue that. I proudly say that I take care of my personal well-being, and I'm very proud of that.
Health comes first. So it has to be
Absolutely.
priority.
I
I mean,
mean,
it should be.
exactly. See, the problem with this space is we all know that, but we don't practice.
Yeah. But you are
Yeah,
inspiring me, and I'm sure that a lot of people would be inspired by your words, that we must
I
first.
hope so.
Yes, they would be, I'm sure, you know.
I
So,
mean, so the book which I have authored, so
yes.
2 years back, I got the idea like uh, since I speak in a lot of forums, and I always vouch for the importance of good health, fitness in the
And
life.
I would like to congratulate
And
you. It was a best-selling book.
oh, thank you. So we spoke to a lot of people, and this book also came out of my own experience, where I realized like a lot of people they join gyms, they join yoga, or they start running, but they could not continue it for a while. I mean, they could not continue. So you'll be surprised to know, like out of 100 people, 90 could not continue after 3 months. Only 10 continued that. And we started analyzing a little deeper. I got a lot of psychologists and a lot of people who study behavior, right? And one of the pattern that we realize, it happens because it doesn't become a habit in most of the people.
True.
And uh, so we started studying the habit forming pattern in fitness. And this book is all about that, like how basically you can make fitness as a habit, because the forming cycle of fitness is little different than is for the other activities. And this is what we talk about in this book. Like if you really want to make it a part of your life, follow these steps
It sounds quite
and you are
interesting.
going to be successful. Yeah, it is interesting actually. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of people, they have benefited. We work with a lot of so basically, a lot of people who have struggled and the people who have serious health issues. Uh, a lot of doctors, they vouch for the book, and they recommend it to the patients, right? Because for them, it's very critical. If they don't do it, for them, it's like
I'm going
a
to get
life
it
or
for my
death.
mother.
Yeah,
Definitely, she needs
sure.
it. And a lot of people
Thank
need
you.
it actually in our country.
Yeah, yeah. So it is more like a manual, I would say, where
Mhm.
how really you can make it part of your life.
So I want to ask you my next question, which is you selling
Sure.
Gympik to Roundglass. How
Yeah.
was the process? Was it simple or was it challenging for you?
Not really. See, for every startup, there's a journey, right? Uh, like if you say, if if a small river wants to become big, it goes and merges in the ocean or the sea, right? So the similar fashion is a startup journey. Like Mintra got acquired by Flipkart, Flipkart got acquired by Walmart,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to really become bigger in a space, either you have to become really, really big, or be part of a bigger plate. So the similar thing with us, like so we became part of Roundglass, which who are currently doing a lot of other things apart from fitness. So they also have mental wellness, nutrition, holistic well-being, wellness retreat, and a lot of other things. So we thought, see, holistic well-being is something which is going to be more powerful and more impactful rather than doing only fitness, and it suits in the integrated offering what they have. So we thought, like, why not be part of something which is more impactful? So that's how the conversation started, and it went in a positive way. So it was all smooth and happy. Good for me, because you always make money when you do this kind of equate. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so I would walk you down the memory lane. I want to ask you questions about your university. Like, what was your education background? And did you imagine back then that you would be as accomplished as you are right now?
I don't know. So I studied engineering. That was I started in like 2001, and so that time we all had one dream, like you get placed, and after that you are in a suitable corporate job, which is getting you enough money so that you can do whatever most of the youngsters can do, right? So I think at that point of time, you really don't think beyond 3 years or 5 years of your career, right? So when we talk about, you would have studied the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Where we talk about the need changes at different stages, how we grow. Like first we have the physiological needs, then we have the social, psychological, and then it comes to the esteem and a lot of other things.
Yes.
So it's more like a pyramid.
Pyramid, yes.
So that's how the need changes. So at that point of time, I think most of our needs are about the physiological needs, like, okay, I'll buy a car, I'll buy a house, then probably I'll buy a big
Basic
car.
one.
But what next? Exactly. But once you get all those, you're like, okay, no, I need something more than that. This is not something uh, I have been working, or this is not I am here for. So I need something beyond that. So where you start questioning your abilities and also your existence. Like, okay, let's try something different, more impactful, which which I mean, a lot of time you also do to make your presence felt in a better way. So that's how started. So yeah.
So do you remember your university days? And the days were
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I am. It was always fun. I mean, I still miss those days. So yeah, still in touch with the college friends. We meet very frequently. We party very frequently. So yeah, it was always fun to remember those days.
Since we're talking about university, I wish to ask you one question. Like, how much do you think education plays a role in shaping one's career?
See, I think it's a very good question and a very interesting one. Two things. I think education is something that is forced on us, or the education that we want to take. Actually, these are two different questions that we need to identify. You would have seen
Very
a
good
lot of
point,
people
yes.
now coming out of colleges, universities, doing YouTube, doing movies. Somebody has become I mean, a photographer. People are doing everything out of life, coming out of IITs and IIMs. It's just that they never wanted to do that. They they studied those things because it was forced on them by society, parents, and all the other things. Right. So uh, education has an impact on it if you are really interested to do that, right?
Yeah.
But getting the right education, what you are really interested becomes very critical. And that's where the education system, what the country has, should evolve little more.
And Shabir,
I hope it's going to change. Yeah.
yes, of
So
course.
if you look at the education system, what we have in Western countries, few of the countries, you have the option to change the papers and the optionals that you have based on your choice and the likes and dislikes. But we don't have that much flexibility here in our country. So I hope it's going to change in the coming times.
So I want to,
I hope I answered the question.
yes, 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 of course you did. So I wish to know
Thank you.
about fitness. So what do you think will be the future of fitness in India?
The future of anything is going to have technology part of it. So if you would have seen a future of fitness in US or Western world, now you have this Peloton and Mirror, which are devices which you can install in your house, and it's more like a big human-sized mirror, which
Mhm.
guides you what to do, what not to do. It is basically a human teaching you out of a mirror. So basically, you don't need a trainer to come to your place. Somebody which is more like a AI or a technology human, if we say that, he teaches you out of that. Why it came earlier in those countries? Because the cost to hire a trainer is much higher there. India is much cheaper to hire a trainer, so I
Yes.
think it's going to come here slowly, but it's going to come because it becomes flexible. If I have a device like Mirror Peloton in my house, I can work out at my own convenience whenever I want, what I work out I want, and it learns from the way what I did yesterday and what should I do today and what should I do tomorrow, because it's learning every day from what I'm doing. So that's how even the fitness is going to evolve. The gyms, studios are going to change. Everybody is wearing the wearable devices now. It's capturing a lot of data around us.
So in
So
brief,
this data is going to fit to these devices. Yeah,
the fitness future would be filled with AI and computers and technology, right?
exactly. So most of the things where we deal with the humans are dealing with anything is going to be filled with technology.
Technology.
Fitness is not an exception. Yes.
So, because you are an author to a best-selling book, Fitness Habits Breaking Barriers to Fitness on Amazon, so what was your favorite part of writing this book?
I mean, the Overall journey of creating this book itself was very inspiring for me, and because we wanted to create a manual for the user, and we wanted to create it as simplistic as possible. So whenever we used to write one words and we are like, okay, no, no, let's make it more simplistic, so that a common user who has no understanding of fitness or who has not done fitness ever can also relate to it. So most of the time it's very simplistic. It goes like a flow, and we all can relate to that. So the experience of writing the book, keeping the user in mind, basically the persona of the user who's going to read the book, was very inspiring, and that's where I always keep telling my publisher, like, you don't worry for how we are going to write it, but I know how to sell. So this book is definitely going to sell because marketing and branding is one of my fortes. So we are trying to create a collateral which is meant for the user persona. So it is definitely going to click.
So, what can we expect from you in the future? Is there any other book coming up?
Yes. So I am working on another book which is little away from fitness, but more on the holistic well-being side of it,
Mhm.
where we are trying to also include the mental well-being part of it.
All the best for that. I'm sure that would be a
Thank
great
you.
read as well. And what one
Thank
mantra in
you.
your life has helped you a lot? What is your mantra?
I think my mantra is very simple. I try to become better every day. This is my lesson uh, for myself. So whenever I go to the bed, I just try to remember one instance where I learned something new,
So becoming a
where I
better
can
version
say
of
like,
yourself, right?
exactly. So and this is something I keep reminding myself to become better every day. So this is something is working well for me, and I would say like this should work for most of the people, because
Yes. Yes,
you
of
are
course.
not competing with somebody else. You are always trying
Competing
to
with
improve
yourself.
yourself.
Be the better
Absolutely.
version of yourself. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm going to go on to my last question, which is what
So,
advice would you like to give to your 24-year-old self?
okay, I think that's a tricky one. So, but yeah, uh,
Take your
I
time.
think my advice would be to be more risk taker, which I wasn't at that point of time. Uh, More adventurous in terms of career decisions, because as Indians, I would say, again, this is a very cultural thing. I typically say that we are not great risk takers
Yes.
when it comes to career and those kind of things. We are like, we always try to get into a job which is more established, or uh, which doesn't have much risk, if I say. So uh, if I had to advise myself, I I would like to take up a job which had more risk,
Mhm.
right? Because most of the time the risks are also associated with the returns that it gives. Returns comes obviously in terms of learning, monetary benefit, and many other tangible and intangible. So yeah, that's the advice.
So get out of the box and and take more risk, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you. That was a great philosophical note to end on. And thanks for making this such a fun discussion today for Insightners, the journeys. Thank you, Mr. Ojha. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Muskan. Thanks for your time. Have a
Thank you.
nice day.
And with this, we'll come to a close. This is Muskan, and I'm signing off. Bye bye.
Bye bye.